To Isoxo.
What the fuck is up, everybody? What's up, YouTube? Rocket Powered Sounds challenged me to make a ISO style drop with their new sounds and presets. So I made this killer drop and I'm gonna show you everything that you need to know to make this. First, we're gonna talk about the drums, including the iconic. Then we're gonna break down the synths and we're gonna split that into 5 different bass elements, but really there's like 8 bass elements and we're gonna break all of those down. And finally, we have the vocals and the effects, which is I call it the drill. Rocket Powered Sounds wanted me to show you how it was easy to make something with their sample pack. And I did make something just using the loops, and it sounds like this. I'll show you a quick preview of what I did and how I did it. But I wasn't happy with that. It didn't feel like ISO to me and I didn't want to upload that on the channel. So I went in and I really looked through the entire pack to find the most perfect and closest sounds to ISO. So everything is pretty much Rocket Powered Sounds and obviously my sauce. First thing we're gonna talk about, the foundation of the entire thing. So this is the beat. So the kick, I'm not doing anything to it. There's no processing, it's going straight to the master. Now, I've layered 2 snares and I've done some post-processing to give it that really cool tail. This is real fucking sauce, so you better like the fucking video just because of this. This is what it sounds like dry without the effects. So we have that snare and this snare, which was a little bit more metallic. And I pitched it up a little bit as well. Now, I layered those and sent them to the same bus here on the mixer, and I added a bunch of effects here, as you can see. So the first snare is going directly to that bus with all the effects. The second snare with the metallic stuff, I've removed some of that low end, but it doesn't really matter. Let me just play both of them layered. Both of those are going to this channel here, and on this channel I have a bunch of effects. Let's turn them all off. The only one I'm gonna leave on is the soft clipper. This is what it sounds right off the pack, right? Really what makes the tail, it's my Clapperfire patcher rack, but you can see here how I made it. It's basically the raw signal going out to FL Studio, and then another signal is going to a reverb, fully wet, and a frequency shifter at 652 Hertz. So once I turn this on, it immediately gives it that, but I still felt like it needed a little bit more punch. So I added this transient processor before it, so that immediately gives it a lot more hit snap. Then we have this EQ, 394 Hertz. It just really brings that, like without it, and then with it's like, it feels so much better. The next thing I added is Soothe, just to kind of like make sure it's not fucking up your ears too much. I definitely like fucking up ears, but not too much. And then another EQ with another dip on like a resonant peak, because I felt like maybe this one was a little bit too much. Like if I turn it off. Yeah, it's a slight difference, but it's a difference. Okay, there's another transient shaper after all that. That's the snare processing. Like the fucking video, you know damn well this is fucking gold. Yo, it's Alex from the future. And I filmed that video in my old place. But if you're looking for more snares like that, check out my sample pack, High Energy. The only other thing that's going on in these tracks here is the sidechain. And I have a track for the kick sidechain, and I have a track for the snare sidechain. Now let's get into the next section, which is the top cymbal. So this is really where you're getting a lot of the energy in this track. Because if I play the beat alone, it's cool, you know, it's got a groove, you can bob your head to it, but when I turn all of these cymbals on, it's a lot more bouncy. Oh yeah, and then we have the 16 hats. I'll explain some of the basic principles behind this rhythm. So basically what we have is a ride on every beat. I also have a crash here. I have the first one slightly louder and then the rest are a little bit lower, as well as another hat. We have, so all that together. Now on the actual drop, because I was showing you the intro, my bad, same thing, but we have an extra ride here on some of the kicks. Boom. and then not on that one, and then an extra even 2 there. I don't know. I can't really tell the difference right now. I think I must have heard something when I was producing it. Pretty much big cymbals on kicks and 4 on the floor rides and hats on either 1/8 or 1/16. That's pretty much it for the top layer. Let's get into the drum fills now. So the iconic, I actually made with just a clap. So I grabbed this clap. I went to the grid and I put it on 1/3. And so I grabbed the clap and then I shortened it so that I just have the transient here. And then I just copied and pasted it like this. Then I channeled it to the mixer where I've put a transient shaper and I've automated a reverb on that last clap so that it gives it that splash. But I've also have it turn off when the next kick hits because I don't want that reverb tail to keep going. So that's how we make that fill. So then we have this break that's actually a lot faster. It was at 180 BPM, but I've slowed it down. And I put a low pass filter to open up as it. And that's it. We have this also this signature. That one's from my personal samples. So now we're gonna get into the synths. The first synth that we're gonna talk about is this thump synth. I'm calling it a thump synth. And that's basically a synth that hits on every kick. And we have this sound here that it actually originally sounds like this. I put this filter on it, put a Pro EQ, kind of like turning all that stuff down, and a sound goodizer after for some reason. Hey, it worked. I'm sending this sound both to the sidechain and I'm sending it to this channel here that has all this stuff. So it has a reverb, spreader. This patcher, it's a reverb that you only hear when the sound goes away. So like when the sound is playing, there's no reverb. And then when it stops playing, the reverb comes back up. And it's weird because I actually have reverbs that are not doing that. So it's just a weird fucking thing that I've done here. After that, we have a sound goodizer. And then I removed the low end. So that sounds like this now. Okay, so that's that. Before I went and decided on this sound, I actually tried a bunch of different samples. And when I was doing that, this is one of the things that I tried. I just took that and reversed it. This is creating so much energy and flow on the track. And I have a really long one here right on the pre-drop, and then I have a few flowing through the drop. Now we're gonna talk about the main synths and the post-processing that I did. Sounds so lame without the sub. Let me put the sub in. So let's turn down the effects. So let's see what happens. That's the original sound. So with the effects. So the first thing I added was a Pro Q raising a resonant peak. Let's turn off all the effects. There's actually more effects because I'm sending this to another channel where there's these EQs on it. The next thing I did is reverb. So automated the reverb here to go up when I hit the last note. And that actually brings me to the melody. I'm not really doing too much here, and I did not do it from the piano roll. I did it from the playlist. So I grabbed the sample here and I brought it up 1 semitone. And then on this one, I brought it up 2 semitones. This one is down 2 semitones. So we have the original sample up 1 semitone here, up 2 semitones here, and down 2 semitones here. And that's pretty much what creates the entire melody. That's why I've put them in different tracks so that when you download this on my Patreon, you'll be able to recognize what note is what. The pattern is something I want to talk about a little bit. This right here, this moment is very important. I've made this one half the size of this one, and that's gonna give it a very bouncy effect. See, instead of, so that's a big, huge tip if you can pause on that. The next effect is a sound goodizer. I've been kind of using this a lot. Now, I don't know what the fuck. I don't know what this is doing. I don't know why that's doing that, but for some reason I've added that. Now these seem to be off, but they do turn on here for the pre-drop. I have it kind of like blurring things out. As you can see now, this transit and Pro Q turn on. And it opens, right? Now I'm using this Pro Q to raise the highs, but only the mid highs. The mid signal, the mono signal. Like I'm not raising the stereo signal, I'm raising the mono signal from the high and mids. And here I've actually turned down the frequency around here. I find it that when I carve out that resonant frequency a little bit more, it sounds better. Finally, soothe, just to make sure I'm not fucking up your ears too much. And that brings us into the bass fills. These are just random bass fills that I found in the pack, in the Rocket Power Sounds packs. Sound like this. And I've actually layered these here because I don't know. I don't know if it's fucking up, and it's definitely clashing, but I liked it. Is that with this? Yeah, it's definitely clashing, but I like it. Fuck it. We have this sub from Rocket Power Sounds. This one's called Time Travel UK's bass sub. The sub is going through a sound goodizer and a Pro Q. Finally, we have a Reese. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So at the end of the 8 bars, this is one of my favorite Reeses that I've ever made in CRM. And I'm keeping the creepy vibe with my melodies. I'm making sure that my melodies are just creepy. Now let me put you on game for the vocals. This text-to-speech.
How to ISO.
So this ISO is actually from ISO's real song.
ISO.
But the how to
ISO.
is from, this is where I get a lot of my vocals. It might be Ivy, let me see.
How to ISO.
That sounds so cool.
How to ISO.
But anyway, I've done a manual delay just by copying and pasting the how to down here and then just turning down the volume. And finally, we get into the effects. It's almost like the drill. Now the drill doesn't sound that great alone. Like it really sounds great in the mix, but here, it's too thick. But in the mix, the master pretty much has, I did something fucking crazy here. Okay, I have the original signal going out to the master and a separate signal. It's just more volume because this is without it and then it's just more volume. And that's going to this limiter. And that's it. If you want to learn more, you can consider doing some one-on-one coaching classes with me. I'm going to do them. And I can break down any other questions you have that I may have missed here. Shout outs to RPS for trusting me with their new sample pack and presets. That's pretty much it. I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.